Yeah. Now, the Civil War Roundtable are these gentlemen that are like super smart about history.
Okay.
They spent months working on questions. They actually came up with like over 600 questions.
Oh, wow.
And they were in full range here, from eerie topics to history, Americana, and so on.
Okay.
And so here's one for you as a sports guy.
All
right. Which New York Yankee had the most rings as a player?
I thought this was American 250 history.
Yeah, but it's history.
Oh, man.
Which New York Yankee had the most rings, World Series rings as a player?
Jeez. And I'm a baseball guy.
So I said DiMaggio.
Mantle would have been the first thing that came to me, but it's
the other guy said Mantle. Both of them are wrong.
Yeah, it's probably like Reggie Jackson or one of the guys from the 80s. Or
No.
Then the 30s.
It was Yogi.
Yogi Berra.
Because again, he was the catcher in all of that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would be somebody. Did somebody get that?
One of the audience members.
I couldn't handle the pressure of that. I couldn't. It was like a Jeopardy format.
Oh, totally. Yeah, with the buzzer and the whole thing.
I'd be twitching with that buzzer, be going off after like 3 words. I'd be like, oh, shoot, I don't even know the question. I can't handle that format.
Who handed the command of the Niagara to Oliver Hazard Perry? This was the one that killed me.
I don't know. I don't know the local as well.
Yeah.
And I feel like, you ever see my office?
Yeah.
I got a bookshelf. I got bookshelves full of, like, that's all I do is read history. And you still wouldn't know. That's awesome that you did that well.
Yeah.
Who was it? Who handed it?
So it was Elliott was the captain of the Niagara.
Yep.
And I didn't remember.
I've read.
That.
Yeah. 1812.
Oh, you want to hear the big one? I've told my audience this already, but I'll ask you. So this was the final Jeopardy. This was for all the marbles. Which future? This is a Revolutionary War question. Which future Secretary of War facilitated the delivery of cannon from Fort Ticonderoga, New York, to Washington's position in Boston? And again, the key there is the future Secretary of War.
I want to say Edwin Stanton, but he was
Civil War.
Secretary of War right after the country was formed, basically.
Basically in Washington's cabinet, right?
Who? I'm going to kick myself.
Henry Knox.
Yeah. Yes.
Named Fort Knox after him.
Exactly.
I had no clue.
See,
I put down Hamilton.
No, it's all right though, because
Hamilton was,
it was in Washington's army.
Was Washington's army.
That's a great guess. There's nothing wrong with that guess.
It was not enough.
We're coming up on the 250. Now I'm taking over the show.
Yeah, there you go.
It's nice of you to allow me to do this.
Absolutely.
What do you think the founders would say today
about American
this
250?
Country. Yeah, about this country today.
That we're soft.
Okay.
That do we have anybody that's giving up our what is it, our pride and our sacred honor, I mean, like
we pledge our fortune,
our
sacred honor.
Yeah. I mean basically they were all in.
They signed their own death warrants.
Yes, for the revolution. We have, my son was active duty military. They talk about being the 1%ers, because only 1% actually enlist or are commissioned.
Correct.
Of the population. That's as opposed to my father's generation, where you knew everybody lived on a block where there was a man that was overseas fighting World War II. Yeah. Fighting for civilization.
Yeah, that's the greatest generation for a reason. I think we do, for the most part, other than whiny little snots. I think we pay tribute to our
well, we pay the tribute,
still.
but I'm not sure we're taking on the sacrifice.
No, I would agree. So you think they think we're soft? Okay.
Yeah.
What else?
What the founding fathers would say about us? That I would say that that our voting turnout is such where that we're it's like what Ben Franklin said. You can have a republic if you
can keep it. Allegedly,
keep it.
No one's ever really
they haven't said that.
It's really never been verified.
Yeah,
for everything I've read, although most people think it was said. Okay, I think let me surprise you. I think the founders, both of those things are true, but I think generally they'd be pretty happy. I really do. I think they'd be like, well, what is this crazy place, right? I get it, and there's a lot of that, but we're still a representative republic.
True.
There are still 2 senators from each state elected by the people. That did change along the way. State legislators used to, but that changed.
We're still quoting their words.
Congress still exists. There are term limits on the president. I mean, I think they wouldn't like a lot of the long service.
Sure.
Okay, but at the same time, they could say, well, they kept getting elected. Like, you can talk about it. Maybe they wouldn't like the campaign money, but I really think at the end of the day, the country has the same form of government that they set up. We're still using the Constitution.
Yeah.
We quote the Constitution.
Yeah. I mean, you think about Madison and Hamilton and the Federalist Papers. That's the Bill of Rights. I mean, it is part and parcel of our everyday life.
Yeah. I again, there's a lot of things they wouldn't like. But I think they would like that the country is still there. I really do. I would love to have that conversation with
I'm
the
glad
founders.
that you're coming in optimistic.
Well, let's not say that. But I think they would. I think they'd be like, they have been able to keep the representative republic. We don't love the way this looks, but we knew that. There were things, come on, the Federalist and the states' rights, they were at odds over everything.
Absolutely.
Found a way,
I mean, they had to figure out a way to deal with slavery right from the Continental Congress. They were,
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're about to do 1776 at the Playhouse in a few weeks, and those Southern colonists.
Incredible.
Yeah,
it was vicious. I'm reading a lot of 1857 in there, pre-Civil War stuff right now.
I always feel bad that like the who's considered the worst president was the only president from Pennsylvania, James Buchanan.
But
it was just terrible.
Things went south on him. The country was headed that way anyways. I'm reading about him. There was a lot of promise for James Buchanan. And think about this. So he has to govern in a time when the South and the North are absolutely diametrically opposed over slavery. Like there was no, and so he had to win. He wins a slim, it was impossible.
Yeah.
So I get it. Andrew Johnson, same thing. Like Andrew Johnson wanted to keep the Union together like Lincoln did, but Lincoln did it as the Emancipation Proclamation and gets assassinated, which I'm sorry, it adds to your legacy, right? It does. Andrew Johnson wanted to do this. He just didn't want to. He wanted to keep it together. I'm not saying they get a bad rap. They're just they're such different times. You're such a victim of your circumstances. Sometimes.
One of the questions, I think it wasn't in my show, but it was in the earlier show, was who was Lincoln's first vice president? That's a hard one.
Was the Tennessee?
Was he from Tennessee?
What was his name?
I don't remember.
Kruger.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
one
awesome,
I would know.
Dino.
That one I would know.
Yeah.
It'll come to me.
Okay, you need to do this the next time.
No, I can't. I can't handle the pressure, Joel. Can't handle the pressure.
Well, you know how I got in it. I had to answer 50 questions in 30 minutes. And so the speed is the thing. The recall is the thing.
I can't do it. It just would take me too long.
These guys there was one guy, Adam, that was winning for most of it until Final Jeopardy. He just didn't know the last question. But he actually is a trivia master. Like he runs trivia games. He had another one coming up at the Kings Rook Club. I mean, so these are professionals.
That's who you're competing with.
Yeah, and I was the
so you're like the amateur.
I was the amateur.
So you're the highest finishing amateur? That's a big deal.
Maybe, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
That's pretty cool. You're a smart guy. You're
you're
so humble. But
I love a lot of a lot of useless knowledge.
It's not. I don't think it's useless.
Yeah.
My wife thinks it's useless too. And I'm reading it too, but I think it's fascinating. I love it.
Before we go to break, you're back on the throne. You had a gig this weekend
drums,
outside.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Ribfest was awesome.
Yeah.
They were so. It's about time they got good weather. Kathy Danielson's run that thing forever.
Yes,
and does such a wonderful job. It was fun. It was fun to get back playing some drums. It just
wicked
just
goose.
Doing anything. It's for anybody who's been through. It was a major heart attack. That's how the doctors describe it. Even though I've recovered fairly well and the prognosis is all very good. It's the emotions of recovery are much tougher, I think, than the physical. Depends on the surgery you have, of course. But for me, it's hard. You honestly, you think you're dying every second. That's what you think. And heart attack recoverers have told me that. The hospital told me that. Everyone just said, you don't understand how hard this is going to be for you emotionally. And I'm like, give me a break. I'm fine. Of course I'm fine. I'm a guy, but it has been. So, and that's, I'm happy to admit that, I think, for other people that go through stuff. But it's getting better, and being able to go out and play for a couple of hours on a Friday night for the first time in,
you didn't
in
feel
7
any
weeks.
chest pain or
No, but you get, it's not a panic attack per se, but it catches your breath a little bit.
Well,
like,
again, you're the drummer.
Yeah, but
it's very active.
Yeah, I get it. But you go into cardiac rehab and you're doing all those things. So I think getting through it emotionally was probably more than physical. Friday, the American Heart Association has their heart ball. And I'm part of that. I get to be part of it, part of the process of telling my story, just because I'm a public guy. That's just the way it is. And I think, people have said, listen, you need to tell people this because they need
100%.
to, you will save lives. Well, I'm not saving lives, but my story will, I guess. I don't know. I never get used to that, I guess. But they wanted me to do it, and there's some wonderful recipients and all that stuff. Anyways, that's Friday night, and we're going to do that too. So you get these milestones. You go through one event and the next things that you thought you couldn't do. And I don't know. I'm just a lucky guy, Joel. There's no doubt.
Well, and we're incredibly fortunate that we're have you with us here. Dean Papicello is with us. We're going to take a quick break and be back with what the breakdown is of all the politics. It is going to be Paxton versus Tallarico down in Texas. Wow. I love these 80s movie songs because that's like a song that Dino would play on K104 back in the day, right?
Indeed, way back in the day.
Jackson Brown, right?
Indeed.
It would have been an oldie even for you, wouldn't it? It wasn't an oldie for me. All right, let's break it down here. I got to ask you about the Trump factor. He goes after he didn't go after Cornyn, but he basically said at the last minute, I am throwing my hat behind Bill Paxton, not Bill Paxton, but the AG in Texas. Paxton wins. Ken Paxton. He wins the primary. He goes after Louisiana. He goes
Hagerty.
after which
Hagerty?
one?
Who is it? Louisiana, whatever it was.
What? Yeah,
I mixed them all up. But yep.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah,
Also lost.
and he loses.
Yep.
Notice that he's staying out of Maine, basically, because he kind of knows that Susan Collins is about the only Republican that could still win in Maine. She's kind of like a middle of the road. There's not going to be any MAGA Republican that comes up.
That dude's a mess, by the way. The
Graham Plattner.
Oh my goodness gracious! Every day there's something again.
Yeah,
they've tried to spin it. They make it about Trump, and he'll never make it. So
he'll never. That all broke into mainstream media basically yesterday.
Yeah.
Right. You were watching some of the shows.
Yeah. This whole story on the sexting or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, this he's a mess.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. He will never make it. They might leave him on through the primary. I don't even know if he's unopposed, whatever. He will never be the candidate.
Well,
no way.
The governor was running for that Senate seat, is a Democratic governor, Janet Mills, and she pulled out. She wasn't raising any money. So, there's this cavalcade of money there, yet he's just a flawed candidate for the Democrats.
They may leave him there for the primary, and then I think their deadline is July something, where they can pull out after winning the primary and the party appoints or whatever, and they'll appoint her or whatever they'll do. There's no way that dude's the candidate. He is not winning. The stories are going to get worse. They haven't even done any opposition research on this. It was his wife that notified the party, right?
They've only been married for like 3 years, too.
I mean, that's his own wife going, hey, you might want to know this about this guy.
Yeah.
Wait till they actually find out this. He'll never make it to be the candidate in the long run. He'll never be there in the general. No way.
So it's Trump's Republican Party. The era of George W. Bush, the Bush kind of strain, or heck, Reagan Republicans. Is that just done? Is it over?
No, I don't think it's over. I think Trump is the most he's the most influential president for his own party of our lifetime, and maybe forever. I mean, you studied a lot of presidents. I've studied a lot of presidents and presidencies. People did what George Washington wanted because he was the elder statesman. I mean, they continued to press him back into service.
Yes.
I can't think of another president who had so much influence over his own party. He's like it or not.
Well, you could say that Lincoln started the Republican Party.
Yes. Started. Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if Lincoln, I'm sure he was there long enough to have as much.
Right.
Lincoln never had all this massive influence. I mean, he ended
like,
up winning the election and being
You
consequential.
think about Eisenhower, right? He was the supreme commander of the Allied forces, becomes president.
Yeah.
As a Republican, probably nowhere near the kind of influence.
No. Although more than you might think, but
yeah,
he was. That time, he didn't want to be consequential. Calm it down. You're coming off a world war.
Nixon didn't have this.
No way. And that was before Watergate.
So Reagan maybe, but Reagan was getting pushback from the Republicans.
Again, in retrospect, great president, but influential in their own party at the time are two very different things. Reagan was nowhere near the influence in his party that Donald Trump has. He owns this party single-handedly. He owns it. I don't know where this party goes in 2 years. Where are you going? Because Trump's still Trump, whether he's president or not. You have got a majority of registered conservatives that are MAGA and are going to listen. As long as this guy's alive, he's going to control the party. I really firmly believe that. So what happens then? Are these candidates going to win? Is Ken Paxton going to win in Texas? Probably, because it's Texas and things drip out about Tallarico. But that's going to be incredibly close. That'll make the Beto O'Rourke.
It's going to be so expensive.
Ted Cruz. Yeah, and now all the resources have to go there because now you have to hold a seat with a flawed candidate. And Ken Paxton is probably flawed. At least he's damaged.
Yeah. I
mean, we'll see how it plays out. But now they have to use all of those resources there. And you have competitive races all over the place where they can't use influence and money. So I guess some people will tell you there's downside to this, but it doesn't matter. It's Trump's party at this point. Look what happened in Indiana, Louisiana. I mean, we go on and on. He's winning almost 100% of these races he decides to put his finger on the scale for.
But they're all primaries. These are not general elections.
I know.
And if you remember in 2022, I mean, he really messed things up for Republicans in Georgia, for example. And now you have a John Ossoff and Raphael What
Warnock.
Yeah, Warnock. I mean, if he, I was listening to a podcast today by not a conservative podcast, or I'll just say it. I was listening to Ezra Klein, and they were analyzing all these things. And Ezra's hypothesis was that Trump doesn't really care if he loses the general election in the midterms, because his goal is to have outstanding and long-lasting influence over the GOP long beyond his term as president. Now, I don't totally buy that. I think he does care if they lose, but he's going to do it his way, and his way is by basically keeping everybody in line and kicking out those that would be contrarian to him.
Yeah. Do you think there's an element of that? Do you think it's simply about be loyal to me or be gone?
I think that absolutely there's that element.
I do too. I think he wants both. He wants to kick out those who weren't loyal to him and still win the elections. He better be right.
But he's at odds in a lot of ways with his strategery there.
You cannot cross this guy. You can't. That's just the political reality.
So yeah, what's the hierarchy of need here?
I'll tell you in November. I'll tell you in November.
Is it better to have Democrats owning Congress and investigating and impeaching all day long and not passing anything? Or is he going to just do it with I've got a phone and a pen like Obama
Only
did?
Donald Trump knows that answer. I don't know, but I suspect he's loyalty is number one. I'm not sure loyalty isn't more important to him than winning. I'm trying to get in the guy's brain. Yeah. It's very gutsy. If it works out, then he's a genius again. But he is what's unquestionable. He is the most powerful person in the Republican Party. He is the kingmaker. End of story. That's not always the case. It's never been the case to me. Of course, you want a popular incumbent's endorsement. But if you don't have it, you're losing. And if he's working against you, you're definitely losing. That's unheard of in this country.
It was interesting to hear the race by race breakdown. It's actually going to be quite difficult for the Democrats to take the Senate. Maybe the House is going to be easy. So, but if you have a split Congress, I'm not sure there's a whole lot going on there, you know?
We're going to find out.
Yeah.
That's all you can say at this point.
Yeah. All right, we've got to go to break at the bottom of the hour. Dean is with us. Stay with us. It's Talk Erie. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show, live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. On Mondays, we break down all the politics with our political guru, Dean Pepicello. And Dino, tomorrow night is another big primary night. What, California and
so, yeah.
Iowa? And,
Okay.
Yeah. Again, part of this Ezra Klein interview I was listening to this morning, he was interviewing a Republican operative, very smart people, both of them, right? But he was actually giving some advice to the Democrats that, the carrot has always been there in Texas, right? One of these days we're gonna win Texas. Texas is very hard to win as a Democrat, statewide.
Still believe it was the reason they opened the border. Just saying, I think they wanted to flip Texas. I really do. So
yeah.
they'll never admit that.
I don't know.
But I think that was one of the goals.
You have multiple very large, very expensive media markets there. You're going to have a drop-down, drag-out fight there. And what this fellow was saying is that there's probably some less expensive and just as winnable, if not more winnable, states, and they mentioned Alaska and Iowa as being two, but they also mentioned Ohio, and you realize that Sherrod Brown is running again against trying to get back in
right.
as a senator. He lost to
Bernie Moreno, right?
Bernie Moreno.
Yep.
And now the fellow that was I think appointed or won
Be the J.D. Vance seat, right?
For the J.D. seat, is up again.
Oh,
and so
well, we heard nothing about that.
I don't know.
I wonder
let's look at real clear. Anyway,
I wonder if the polls aren't very close, or maybe it's just early.
I mean, they're wondering if Sherrod Brown's negatives are kind of baked in.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't know.
It'd be tough to come back, I think.
You think it would? Yeah.
Yeah, I got to imagine plenty of money would be dumped into the Republican candidate there.
And then there's this huge fight in the primary for Democrats in Michigan. Now, I don't know when they go up, when they're ready, but
so the California
deal
governor race is tomorrow then too, because L.A. is getting all the attention right now because of Spencer
Yeah,
Pratt,
what do you think about
Karen Bass.
L.A. and Karen Bass, right?
I think the numbers are pretty accurate from what I saw today. It was Bass 26, the crazy liberal city councilwoman 24, and Spencer Pratt 22, which is all within the margin.
Yeah.
Spencer Pratt makes a compelling argument. I think I've been saying for years either party, they act like they're running or trying to burn each other's house down, and literally they did burn the houses down
right.
In L.A. He makes a compelling argument. I don't know if he's likable enough, and I don't know if he's Spencer Pratt, meaning has he had enough time? And it's L.A., man. I mean, are they really? But if it's Karen Bass and Spencer Pratt, if that's how it plays out, and if I guess I would take that today in a very close race. That does not bode well for Karen Bass. I don't think the women or the people who are voting for the other woman in the race, when you're an incumbent and people don't vote for you in a three-way race, they're probably not coming back for you, right, in the general election.
Right.
They have some problem with you, whatever that is. And so I think that I can't imagine Karen Bass ending up holding that seat if it works out that it's all close and they're all in the 20s. So if Spencer Pratt ends up the number 2 or somehow ends up winning that thing, I think it bodes pretty well, even in the general election. But it's still an uphill battle, and I don't know if he has enough.
Yeah.
I don't get the sense about him like I did with some other outsiders. I don't know if the likability factor is there. His message is incredible. And
Spencer's,
the timing is great. And I hope he gets in.
Getting burned out of his house in the Palisades.
It's incredible, and I hope he wins it because I just want to be entertained for the next 5 months. In that race.
Well, again, we have an electorate that has voted. Millions of the electorate have voted for Donald Trump, who was a reality show
correct
guy,
but Trump
and
had
that's what
much more appeal than Spencer Pratt. I think that's what. But
Hey, do you
he's entertaining.
You want to hear the polls for Ohio? So the primaries were already held, right?
Oh, okay.
May 5th.
Well, that's why we're not hearing it.
So right now, what is it? I'm looking for if they have any polls about for the general in Ohio. It looks like Houston.
That's his name, yeah.
+3 over Brown is the latest one I'm seeing.
Well, it's nobody.
And I have a Houston +6.
Yeah,
over Brown.
That's probably more accurate. Nobody's thinking about that race. I didn't know the primary was May 5th. Neither did anyone else. So I'm not sure they knew it in Ohio.
Remember how Tim Russert, Ohio.
Sure.
After Florida.
Oh, sure, in presidential elections.
Yeah, but. I'm just wondering. Are you thinking that it's solid red?
Yeah, it has been.
Ohio.
It has been. I think it's one of those states that could go.
So
the other way
Sherrod is
eventually.
probably not have a chance.
I don't see how he comes. I mean, his time is over.
Yeah.
Sometimes your time runs out in politics. It just does.
What?
and it just feels
Okay,
that way.
so let's go back to 2028 and a primary challenge by Bob Casey on John Fetterman. How does that shape?
Is that still reality?
That's what.
I
That's the
have not seen
rumblings
that.
I'm hearing. Yes.
How old will Bob Casey be in 2 years?
Yeah, I don't know. Wow.
By the way, did you see the Washington Post report on Democratic candidates in 28 for president? It was, oh man, it was
it, like
it was
AOC?
Mark Kelly.
Oh, Mark Kelly.
It's the Washington Post analysis of strength.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't a poll. I think it was their analysis of who could win, but it was they're going sort of moderate. Mark Kelly, Josh Shapiro,
Sure.
and then in the middle there was Kamala Harris.
Right.
Gavin Newsom was also in their top three.
Sure,
So the top three were Kelly, Shapiro, Newsom. Not,
Really?
Right.
Not Kamala.
And then in the next group, it was Kamala, it was Buttigieg, it was AOC.
See, I just heard a poll that said Buttigieg was the leader.
I think the polls say that.
Yeah.
I think the Washington Post is probably saying to Democrats, I don't think you want any of the people that the far left is going to endorse.
Yeah.
I don't think they can stop it, which is, I think, very bad news for the Democrats. But
What's
we'll see.
the impact of primarying John Fetterman in 2028?
Well, who will the Republican be?
Yeah, I mean,
that
it could be. Yeah, I don't know.
What will the impact be? I think.
I mean, does
Donald Trump were on the ballot?
Does that weaken the Democrat by having a primary challenge? Now, it could be that Fetterman is done. He just doesn't run again.
Right. If Donald Trump were on the ballot, I would say it would weaken the Democrats. But who knows what it'll look like then? I think there will be some Trump fatigue with more than half of the country, not with MAGA, the true, but I think there'll be a Trump fatigue. My son is 23 and said to me the other day, Donald Trump has been the Republican guy since I was 10 or something.
Right, yeah, since I've been aware.
And I'm like, holy cow. Like, we don't think of it. We're older, right? But for all of his life where he's been paying attention to politics at all, it's been Donald Trump.
Yep.
So where does that group go? I don't know. Does it weaken? In Pennsylvania, a Democrat left of John Fetterman is weaker in Pennsylvania in a general election. Yes.
You think Bob Casey's to the left of Fetterman?
He'd have to be. He'll have to be to win the primary. That's the
Right.
problem.
That'll be the issue, right?
Right? That's
Again, sorry to bring in, we're in the midterms here.
they're great questions.
But I don't know.
You don't think people are already thinking of that stuff?
Oh, I think they are.
Of
I mean,
course.
they're already gaming this, aren't they?
I've only seen Connor Lamb. I haven't seen. I mean, I've heard that. But
Yeah. Let's get a phone call in here. Hey, you're live on Talk Erie. Hello.
Hello. I haven't talked to Dean in a month. I even haven't talked to you, Joel, in 3 weeks. So that I came across a term, and as soon as I read it, it described you and Dean. You two are culpable to Trump. You made Trump likable enough that people wanted to vote for him.
That
You
we did.
encouraged his election, and you were culpable in his being elected. type thing.
That's interesting because I thought everybody had their own agency.
Type situation. All right, that's it. It's been a nice, sunny,
enjoy the
great
sun
week. And last week, did they change your meditation or something?
Why?
You were off all week. I mean, you could not find your footing, I thought, all week last week. And I go, is he having a Biden week or something like this? Because that's all I could find.
All right. Glad to oblige for the entertainment value.
Dude knows everything. Just ask him.
Yeah.
He won't stay in debate. What's he talking about?
Yeah.
What's he talking about?
There is here's how I feel about it. Everybody gets their own vote. We're analyzing and having some conversation about politics,
Won every swing state in the country.
That's what's so shocking is the blue wall, right?
This is a Democrat who doesn't understand that his party is not the party he thinks he is. He's old. He thinks he's a JFK guy. He thinks his party is JFK, and they were good then. It's not the same party, and he hasn't gotten with the times, and he doesn't understand. His party has gone so far left. It's why you got pounded. It's not because Joel and I are conservatives and just think that might have been the better candidate in one or more elections. It's because your party has gone off the rails, and people like him don't see it, and they don't understand it. And I just think that's a far bigger factor in Donald Trump being a president twice than two morons on the radio in Erie, Pennsylvania. I mean, it's not.
Well, it's pretty shocking too to think, because it goes back to our Casey Fetterman conversation. If Casey ends up being like the front runner to challenge Fetterman in the primary, which I'm sure that is not necessarily the case, right? There could be a Kenyatta who's from Philly, right?
There'll be a lot of Philly
Malcolm
Democrats.
Kenyatta, right?
Sure.
I mean, he's a very attractive candidate.
I don't know if he is statewide.
Well, I mean, but he's had some chances, right? He went for what was it, AG or Auditor General?
Didn't win
something like that. No,
but he's very left. You still have to win Pennsylvania.
You still have to win Pennsylvania.
That's the problem. Like do you know how difficult it is? You have to be one person to win the primary and a different person to win the general. That's the way this state is. It makes for fascinating politics, but it's very difficult to do. There are very few people that can do it. John Fetterman is one, probably maybe the best at it. Let's be honest. Dave McCormick's a tremendous senator, by the way. Very likable, gets across the aisle to some extent. I mean, he does it right as well. So the two senators sitting there now are very good at winning primaries and general elections.
And I feel like they're very Pennsylvania.
Right.
Again, you can't tell me that John Fetterman is a dyed-in-the-wool Pennsylvanian. He just emulates Braddock.
Sure.
And the Steel City.
But it's hard to do.
He's a Yinzer, man. So and really, so is McCormick,
Yeah, they would argue that he's Connecticut Dave. He's done a nice job in the role, I think, of understanding his next general election. Or maybe that's just him. That's probably just him.
We got 30 seconds. Shapiro Garrity, anything moving there? Again, Stacey Garrity probably is the strongest candidate that the GOP could have put up against Josh. But, man, is that an upward battle?
Well, I don't think anybody's too worried about Josh Shapiro losing Pennsylvania if they think he's the number 2 guy in line for the presidency. I guess they're very different things. But, no, it's a big state to cover. And to do it physically is hard. And then you have to do it with money. And she's certainly struggling with the second part.
She's having
It's hard to raise money when you trail by 20 in polls. It's not fair, but that's politics, and politics is not fair. We'll see. Still time left.
All right, Dino. Appreciate it, man. Sure. We're 1 day of June is already done. This summer's going to go away, and it's going to be Christmas time before we know it.
Enjoy it. Enjoy it.